Hello and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Amy McNee with Informatica, and today I have the pleasure of talking with Heather Tubbs, VP Global Head of Risk Analytics and Platforms at Visa. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you for having me part of this conversation, Amy.
Well, we're going to start really simple here. So first, just tell me a little bit about yourself and how you made your way into your current role.
I am based out of Denver, Colorado. Let's just start, I guess, with the education background. I have an undergraduate in psychology, actually, and an MBA. I have focused for the past 15 years of my career on data and analytics. So after I completed my MBA, I was brought into an organization, a healthcare organization, to help with their strategic insights, and very quickly found my way over to the data world. So I spent about 10 of those years, 9 of those years working in healthcare analytics and insights. So helping improve how physicians and how hospitals operate effectively and efficiently. And I think it was 2018, I moved my way over to the payment space and I was recruited into Visa. I started there as a director of insights and analytical delivery focused on North America. I then moved over to the global risk organization where I was focused on new payment flows and regional analytics. And recently, I've taken over the head of that team as the global head of risk analytics and insights, supporting the organization as a whole for all things related to fraud and risk, specifically around protecting the ecosystem and reducing fraud for our clients.
That's a great track to get into data. I love the background in psychology, so I think that's very appropriate with data and AI today.
Yes.
Listen, I don't think you can drive down the street and not see a sign about AI. It's everywhere. I'm curious what you see as near-term opportunities for data and AI at Visa.
Yeah, they're tremendously influential in today's business landscape. As you said, they're everywhere. I would say over the past year, it's even become more everywhere. It's almost like you said, you can't drive past a billboard without seeing something around AI or machine learning or driving insights in that way. They do harbor the potential to significantly reshape insight delivery and decision making in the business process. Everything that my team is focused on isn't just around data or creating, data models. It's around providing insight delivery and decision support to executive leadership in the organization. So when we think about AI and how it's evolving, one of the quickest ways or the fastest ways that we think about that is in predictive analytics. AI's capability to scrutinize historical data allows businesses to forecast like future trends, especially when it comes to risk and fraud. We can create a proactive approach that empowers them to plan strategically and then make more informed decisions for how to react or be proactive in fighting fraud within the ecosystem. It also helps with automating routine tasks. So it allows our employees to concentrate on more strategic decision-making needs. This enhances our efficiency and improves the quality of our decisions because we're focused less on the data engineering side or less on the data capabilities and more on what does the data mean and what is it telling us and how do we make the right decision based off that data. When it comes to risk, it really plays a pivotal role in our risk mitigation strategies. So we have the ability to identify potential risk and propose countermeasures that can significantly contribute to business stability. So instead of being reactive again, we're trying to be more proactive in fighting the fraud and the risks that we see come through in the organization, specifically the payments landscape. Another way that we see it a lot, and you see this a lot without all of the AI world, is real-time analytics. So how can we make more real-time decisions? And so what it allows us to do is the capacity to analyze significant amounts of data. I mean, here at Visa alone, we see, billions of transactions a month, leading up to trillions of transactions a year that we need to be able to process and understand what do they mean and how do we make the prompt decisions around anomalous behavior that we see in the ecosystem. It also fosters collaboration within the ecosystem and within the organization. So because of AI, the future of it does allow us to have more actionable insights and encourage different teams to work cohesively towards a shared objective without it being so siloed. So it brings everybody into the same room. And finally, cost savings. Everybody's going to talk about cost savings when it comes to automation and efficiency within AI. It's a really big appeal that we have here at Visa specifically is how can we automate processes that have historically taken a significant amount of time? A perfect example is on my team. We have 70 dashboards all around fraud and risk that an individual person is refreshing today. So how can we automate that to allow that person to work on more innovative things throughout the organization and really drive value? So to summarize, it really is indispensable tool for the future of our business, but not just Visa as a whole, but throughout the organization and throughout the entire ecosystem of payments.
I'm really excited that you talked about something beyond just generative AI because so many people are it's such a mesmerizing technology. I think there was some stats out that talked about, it took like less than a day to get to 1 million people actually logging on to chat GPT for the first time. So there's so much uh, excitement around that. But I think sometimes we're forgetting about all the other good things that we can do with AI once we have good data. So you also
Exactly.
said something I'm really curious about, which is AI helping you sort of detect and prevent fraud. I'm wondering, how worried about are you about AI actually generating more fraud and making it more difficult to identify that? It's, certainly around like impersonation or other things where AI is going to be a tool used for nefarious reasons as well.
Yeah, I mean, really, AI is a blessing and a curse if you really think about it. It's an incredible, powerful tool that can revolutionize how we detect and prevent fraud. It allows us to, like I said, to sift through mountains of data. I mean, we're talking billions and trillions of records a day or a year, and being able to spot those patterns and oddities. But it also can be used by fraudsters for nefarious reasons, to commit fraud, for example. So they can leverage that sophistication of AI to come up with new ways of committing fraud that's faster than we're able to capture it. And so what we're constantly doing is evaluating our models and evaluating our algorithms to take in this new information. So we have an entire team dedicated purely just looking at the dark web and trying to understand what are fraudsters doing, because they all talk about it. The fraudsters aren't doing a lot of things in the dark as much as you like to think about it. They get on the internet and they say, oh, here's what I'm doing, or let's all do it together. So it does allow us to really have still a reactive approach, but AI allows us to be reactive much quicker, and really think about what is the ways, if I was a fraudster, that I wouldn't manipulate the use of AI to commit fraud against our cardholders or against merchants. Like, it's not just cardholders that are targeted. A lot of times it's merchants that are targeted as well. So it's really just having that multi-pronged approach around staying a step ahead, looking at real-time data to be able to find anomalous behaviors. So if we see, for example, a cardholder doing a significant amount of volume in an area they've never done volume before or transactions before, like something we can highlight really quickly that historically has always been a very reactive days later did we find something, because that's just the nature of how the data moves. We now can look at data within minutes of a transaction happening, which is it's amazing, but also it's a new world for us. We're still trying to solve for it all. It's really difficult in some ways.
Well, as a card holder, a Visa card holder, I'm excited to hear
Yeah.
hear that. So, I also want to talk to you. We had our Informatica World Conference this year, and a really common theme that I heard at the conference was this focus on trying to drive data literacy deeper in the organization. And I'm curious your thoughts on literacy at Visa and trends that you're seeing. How important is it to you to driving an effective data and AI strategy?
It's crucial to both our team and for the organization. As AI continues to evolve, it's imperative that our team has a solid understanding of data, not just in like where the data sits and what the field names are, but what does it mean and what is the product behind that data. Visa has a lot of solutions, a lot of products out there that's available. There's a lot of times that we see data come in a new way. What does it actually mean? And so data literacy is very important to how we analyze it, interpret it, and make informed decisions based on it. Otherwise, you're just a reporting function at that point. You're not providing any insights, any meaning behind the how and the what is happening. So in our team specifically, data literacy allows us to better understand the nuances. Specifically, when we're building out machine learning models, or as we get into more of the depths of AI, to design effective algorithms to ensure the quality and integrity of the data we work with. Because if you're just plugging data in and you don't know what it means, data is data at the end of the day, and it's garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't have that literacy of what it actually means, your algorithms are just going to be as biased in some ways or inaccurate, and so you have a very low accuracy of it coming out, and you're just doing rework over and over and over again, taking it longer to get a product or an AI model out that's actually going to solve a business need. So it empowers us to communicate complex data-driven insights in order for us to understand the data more. It allows us to be subject matter experts for our stakeholders, which is really essential to inform decision making. Because at the end of the day, we're a data analytics shop, but we're thought leaders and we're partners to our stakeholders. And so they rely on us to understand, how does the data work? Where does it come from? So it's not just the technical side of the world. We really have to have that business understanding. But it's kind of like understanding in a healthcare. Let me go back to healthcare, for example, understanding what it means to have a knee replacement. We're not the doctors doing it, but understanding how long it should take and the efficiencies of how an operating room should work. Those are important from a business perspective to be able to say, does this make sense or not?
A really good point. It's beyond just the individual data elements, but it's also in the application of the data, how it should be
Right.
used, what your expectation should be. Those are really good points I think you made. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. There's a lot of discussion around, ethical use of data, right? How, especially in the context of AI, it gets even more murky, right? Because we need more explainability in our models and so forth. It's not just about looking at a data element. I guess the question for you is, do you think that you all are doing anything unique at Visa to help drive the ethical use of data there?
I wouldn't say we're doing anything entirely unique, but what really sets us apart is the diligence and priority we place on ethical considerations when utilizing AI or building models around AI. We've really embraced the philosophy around where ethics is the backbone to our design thinking. So when we think about the designing of an algorithm or designing of a model in any way that we're trying to solve for, even from a Gen AI perspective, we want to make sure that the ethical components are there for the best security and privacy that we have to be able to offer the right features from the get-go. It's kind of like building the security system within a house before you build the house versus after you have a robbery of your house, if you think about it in that way. So when it really comes to the early stages of AI projects, we're very heavily consideration on ethics. It's a big component of it. I remember when we first started releasing a lot of the AI, generative AI options and the ability to do certain technical things within AI, the training around how to use data and how to utilize AI effectively and efficiently and ethically was the number one things that were coming out. It was like the announcement of, hey, you have this opportunity, this tool, to also here's how you're supposed to use it ethically. And so it was a really great training opportunity for everybody as well. And then when it obviously comes to transparency, we want to make sure our models are like an open book. So we were able to explain, this kind of goes back to the data literacy, explain what our models are doing and being able to articulate how the decision is being made from the model. And it's not just a black box, because a lot of times in AI, it's a black box. And so when we think about the inputs that go in and the outputs that come out, do they make sense? And can we easily explain that to business stakeholders who don't have the technical understanding or skills or experience to really do that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So, well, Heather, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank
And
you.
please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews that we're going to have. So, thank you.
Thank you.